Hello students, welcome to CMI's online classes, and this video is for class 8 chapter number 13, and the topic of the chapter is sound. Okay, if you hear sound, if you just see the topic sound, what we have in mind? Okay, sound, everything produces sound. As for example, we human produce sound. Okay, we human produce sound. Even cars produce sound. Even birds produce sound. Animals produce sound. The instrument produce sound. If you tap a table, it also produce sound. So the thing is that how it is produced and what is the reason that sound is being produced from different sources. So in this chapter we will talk about the same. Okay, let's have a recall. Let's have a recall means let's imagine few things. Okay, let's imagine few things that has been observing us in everyday activities. Okay, in the morning, right from the morning, what you will observe? First of all, you will hear sound of your family members. Greetings, that can be greetings, that means they say good morning. Okay, then it could be bhajans, okay, that your elders may sing, but that sounds have a different audibility. The sounds have different audibility. Some are sweet, some are harsh, some are pleasant, some are irritating. Okay, so in this chapter we will talk about everything. So first of all, the question that comes in our mind, how is sound produced? How does it travel from one place to another? That means if a bird is singing or if a bird is creeping, bird creeps. Okay, so how do you hear? There must be something should just pick up that voice and just send it to our ears. Okay, so how do we hear sound? Same. Why are some sound louder than others? As I told, sound of a horn is irritating, but sound of a singing boy or a music, it's pleasant. So we shall discuss such questions in this chapter. So let's start it. So before starting, one more question that arises or that can be important as I think. Okay, so sound are of two types. Audible, that means those things, those sound that we can hear. We can hear. Sound that can be heard. Okay, so that sound that can be heard are called audible. In a similar way, sound that cannot be heard is called inaudible. Okay, so there are two types of sound, and how we can differentiate audible sound and inaudible sound? So the range of sound that is audible is 20 to 20,000 hertz, and hertz means its unit. As for example, unit, as we all know, if you go to buy some things which is in a solid state, the unit of solid state is kg, right, or gram. Okay, that means if you go to buy a potato, What you will say? 1, 2? No, you will you will put a unit there. That means 1 gram or 500 gram or 1 kg or 2 kg. In the similar way, if you go to buy a milk, okay, you won't say kg or gram, you will say milliliter or liter, half liter or 500 milliliter or 250 milliliter whatsoever. Okay, so this was all about units. So sound also have units, that is called hertz. So as I was saying, audible sounds are mostly of 20 to 20,000 hertz that can be heard. Heard by whom? By human beings. Okay, because as we are studying the chapter, we will mostly talk about humans. Okay, and less than 20,000 and more than 20,000 hertz is inaudible. That means these sound can be heard by some animals. Okay, this sound can be heard by some animals. Example, you can say dolphin or bats. Bats can hear more than 20,000 hertz sound. Okay, dogs, they bark in nights. Okay, dog barks in nights. There must be some reason that they are barking. Okay, that means they hear the sound which is less than 20 hertz. Understood? This was all about audible and inaudible. Now let's continue with sound production. How sound is produced? So sound is mostly produced by vibrating body. Okay, so in the beginning I told you that how things are producing sound. There must be something. Okay, so something means the vibrating. There means vibrating, means something is vibrating. Okay, as for example, if we tap a table, as I told you, that means those table is vibrating. Okay, so touch a school bell when you not in use, what do you feel? It's an example. Okay, again touch it when producing sound, that means you can feel it. As for example, if there is an electric bell, okay, if there is electric bell, bells mostly in at home also you can experiment. Okay, but don't experiment without the supervision of your elders. Okay, so if bell is not ringing, just touch it. You won't get a shock, but also you must be cautious and keep elders with you. Nothing, you will not feel anything, and it will not produce sound also. But in the similar, if bell is ringing and if you touch, okay, the sound will be produced, but you will feel that sound is producing due to vibration of the metal box. Okay, so you can do that experiment. Okay, another one, if you bang a plate or a metal body, it can be plate, it can be pan or whatsoever. Okay, you just, what it is said, you just bang it, tung 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 whatsoever, it will produce sound, and that sound is produced due to vibration of that metal. Okay, vibration of that metal. So we have various examples or activities that we can do it by ourselves. As for example, you can just put a scale. You can just put a scale in a beamed area. Okay, you can just put a scale in a beam area and just tap this at one end and press the other end like this. The sound will produce. Actually it's not hard, so the sound is not producing good. Okay, I'm just showing you. Okay, you can try at home. Means the vibration of the scale is producing the sound. Okay, you can just experiment at your home also. You can do it with the rubber band also. Okay, you can do it with rubber band. After that, we can conclude that what is producing this sound. The main thing is the vibration of the materials. It can be wood, it can be string, it can be uh, rubber also. Okay, so these are producing the sound. Okay, so we can see various examples. You can see various examples. Let's see example of a string instrument. Example of a string instrument. What do you mean by string instrument? What do you mean by string instruments? String instruments are mostly those instruments that produce sound due to vibration of strings, like guitar, okay, violin, etc. Okay, so have you seen a instrument? Obviously few students may have seen, actually all of you have seen it. Okay, so when those string is pulled, okay, when these strings are pulled or touched or moved, okay, the vibration of that string causes sound or produces sound. Okay, so you can just experiment, and the main thing is due to vibration only. I'll give you a good example of earthquake, natural calamity. Okay, of earthquake. Okay, most of you have felt earthquake, or most of you have not. Okay, when earthquake occurs, what will happen? The building begin to shake. Okay, you begin to shake. The pillars or the outer surface began to shake. And why does that shaking happens? Why does that shaking happens? It's due to vibration in a inside the earth, but that is not audible. As I already told previously, some are audible and some are non-audible. So that is also producing sound, but we can't hear. So this is inaudible, but it's shaking, it's vibrating, and it's making noise. Okay, this was exception to us, as we can't hear the shaking of the earth. Okay, so there are various other activities or experiments, examples which you can go through. Now let's talk about sound produced by humans. Why we are studying sound produced by humans? We have already studied about the sound produced by non-living things. That means the bench, okay, the string. Okay, now let's talk about how human produce sound. Okay, so in human, the sound is produced by voice box or the larynx. That means it is a structure in our throat that helps the sound to produce. Okay, it's also called voice box, or in scientific term, biological term, you can say larynx. Okay, so where it is located? It is located in the throat. Okay, in the upper part of a windpipe. That means the lungs part. Okay, we have lungs. After lungs, above the lungs, we have windpipe. Then we have larynx. Okay, so two vocal cords are stretched across the voice box. That means we have two vocal cords. Okay, one and two vocal cords that is located in a voice box, larynx. Okay, and they have a narrow slits, a narrow muscular thread like structure that is called slits, okay, across the voice box. And when from lungs, okay, when air from the lungs, when they come outside, the air from the lungs come outside, they move towards the windpipe, and when they reach here at the slits, they produce the vibration of these slits. That means these slits vibrate. Okay, and those vibration causes sound. Those vibration causes sound. Not only that, not only this air, okay, not only this air, we have these vocal cords vibrates with certain ranges, okay. That's why sometimes we speak softly, sometimes we speak in a louder way, and that depends upon this slit vibration, okay. So when the lungs force air through the slit, the vocal cord vibrates, producing sound. Muscle attached to the vocal cord can make the sound cord tight or loose, as I told you. When the vocal cords are tight and thin, the type of quality of voice is different. That means if that muscular slit is tight, it produces different types of sound, and if it is loose, it produces different types of sound. Okay, so that was all about our voice production. Okay, so there is an activity also related to it. So let's talk about this activity. So take two rubber strips of the same size, place these two pieces one above the other and stretch them tight. That means they must be in a parallel way like this. Okay, okay, understood? Two rubber bands. Okay, so these rubber bands, the lower one and the upper one, or the left one or the right one, they act as a slit, okay, the muscular slit. And if we vibrate, if we blow from sideways, means they produce vibration. These two vibrates, okay. It is my hand, but you can do with rubber bands also, okay. So let's continue with this experiment. Now blow air through the gaps between them. As the air blows through the stretched rubber strip, the sound is produced, as I already told you. You can also take a piece of paper also with a narrow slit and hold it between your fingers, as above, as shown in the figure, this figure, okay, this figure, okay. As I already told that I just give you example of my hands, but you can also put a paper, okay. You can just put a paper, this paper, and just hold it, okay, not tightly, and just blow, okay. You will hear a sound, and those sound is due to the vibration of these papers, okay. So it's a good example to describe about vocal cords, understood? So in this chapter we talked about, in the first part we talked about sound production. In our next class we will talk about its recipient and its medium. So thank you.